That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
You heard the man. It's the Produce Stand, your favorite source for everything in the universe. I'm Al, your host. Matt is on the mic and Tanya's in the room. Today, we're going to set the tone with one of the gyms. And just like Dolo, we're feeling blessed tonight to introduce tonight's guest. He is a Canadian actor and former professional hockey player, and also a member of the Ojibwe group of Indigenous peoples. Along with his brother Jordan and father Ted, he founded the 3 Nolan Hockey School to inspire First Nations across the country to play hockey. He's also the vice president of the Ted Nolan Foundation, but we all know and love him as one of the gyms on Shoresy. Please join me in making some noise from Garden River First Nations in Northern Ontario, Brandon Nolan.
Who wants to set the tone, boys? Who's gonna fucking set it? Yeah! Whoa! Let's get on the go, boys! This team will never lose again.
Welcome to the Produce Stand, Brandon.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. Where are you joining us from?
I'm just in a town called Whitby. It's right next door to Oshawa, where I played junior hockey. So
that's right.
Moved here when I was 17, turning 42 this summer, and haven't left.
Oh, you've been in Whitby since you were 17?
Yeah, on and off.
Wow.
So I met my girlfriend at the time, now wife, and we have 3 kids. So it's a good spot to raise a family.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we appreciate you joining us tonight. We were kind of talking a little bit before the show started. We've had John on. We had him on a couple of weeks ago, and now we're happy to have you on. We'd love to make it, a complete set of gyms if we can get your brother on one of these days. But we appreciate you coming on today. Let's kind of take it back before we get to Shoresy. Let's just take it back and talk about your hockey career. Yep. I mean, were you like every other Canadian kid? Were you born with a stick and skates on your feet and stick in your hand?
Yeah, I was definitely, just so hyper focused on, maybe one day playing the NHL. Mm-hmm. I think myself and my younger brother Jordan were pretty spoiled in the fact that we got to be around the game of hockey at a very early age. Growing up in Garden River First Nation, just outside of Sault Ste. Marie, with my father coaching the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, watching them win a couple league championships, and then the ultimate prize for junior hockey, the Memorial Cup. Mm-hmm. So I remember, I think I was 10 years old at the time, and that team winning, they had so many good players like Danny Kluche, Chris Simon, Denny Lambert, Ralph Intranuvo, just guys that I loved at the time. Like they were only junior hockey players, but to me, they were on top of the world, and having the parade in the city of Sault Ste. Marie. And that really just shaped my life, just at an early age, like I said, only being 10 years old. And then, like I said, just wanting to ultimately one day play in the NHL.
Right. Now you mentioned your brother Jordan is younger. What's the age difference?
6 years.
6 years. Okay. So I was going to ask you if you ever got to play with each other on the same team or against each other, but I guess not with that age difference.
Yeah, no.
Until you get to the pros, obviously.
I used to throw him in net when I was 10 years old. He'd be just standing in front of that, something to shoot at. Nice. But didn't get lucky enough to play against each other. I think my last year was 25 years old. I retired from pro hockey due to a head injury, and then he was coming in the next year. So just missed each other.
Yeah. So I mean, because he's the younger brother, he must have been a pain in the ass growing up. Tell the truth,
Yeah, I mean, we were so like just a regular family, just loved hockey. We were always at the rink, always in the locker rooms with my dad's teams. And, when he first moved to Hartford with the Whalers, we were always at the rink, then to Buffalo, and just being thrown into that hockey market, and the people there are just amazing. So we're a super tight family, and, talk to my parents pretty much every day, and, we work together. So, we're a super tight family.
Yeah. Sure. I love it. It almost sounds like you're describing a military family, only
right?
It's hockey, and you just travel wherever the team goes. And that's what your exposure was growing up, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, my father, obviously, he dreamt of, playing the NHL, which he did. And then when he started coaching, kind of unexpectedly, saw some early success. And then he obviously wanted to coach in the NHL. And we had to follow him around, like I said, to Hartford, Buffalo. And, but it's all we knew. And at the time I didn't think anything of it. And, moving to a new school, making new friends, playing on a new hockey team, which looking back now was probably harder than it should have been. But like I said, we're a close family, and we went everywhere together. So like I said, it was just the way it was.
So, I mean, for our American listeners, we mentioned your brother, who's Jordan Nolan, who played for the LA Kings, but your dad, Ted Nolan. I mean, I'm a Leafs fan, but even I was a huge fan of your dad when he was the Buffalo coach. I just wanted to root for him because, you know, he was really good, and he was at the helm when they were doing, you know, some of their more successful years. You know, it's kind of what happens after that is a bit, you know, you could talk about if you want, but it seemed frustrating. Like how frustrating was it? You know, I mean, he went from winning the Jack Adams to can't get a job in the NHL.
Yeah, looking back at the time, I mean, it would have been like mid-90s. So I was like
so you're
12,
young.
13, 14 years old. I was pretty young, so really unaware of what truly was going on. But he came out with a really good book, I think about a year or two ago now, called Life in Two Worlds.
Yeah.
And tells about the story, and not just that coaching story, but really his life and what he had to go through to get to where he was. And like you said, he, you know, won the ultimate prize of NHL Coach of the Year. And what happened after that was a bit crazy. But, you know, like I said, we're a close family.
Yeah.
And I think my parents did a really good job of kind of sheltering us from what was really going on. And like I said, it's all we knew. But just seeing his coaching career, where he came from, it's pretty amazing that he played in the NHL, two coached in the NHL, one NHL Coach of the Year, and then had a lot of success with Team Latvia at the Olympics. So
right. Yeah.
All that stuff's in his book. Like I said, Life in Two Worlds, which is a really good read. And, you know, I actually learned a couple things that I forgot about or blocked aside as I read it. Cause like I said, at the time I was only 13, 14 years old. So
well, I want to ask you about that.
Story's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Cause I mean, it was a bit of a politically charged story at the time, or, you know, and yeah, you're only 12. Like what do you think, or like you're living in Buffalo, I'm assuming, because that's where he was working. Right. What were you thinking at the time? Like, were you going to school and hearing about it, or, you know, how were you taking that?
Honestly, not really. I mean, no, it wasn't like
didn't phase you.
Gossip or like anything tumultuous going on. It just, like, he won NHL Coach of the Year. I just remember him being like absolutely beloved in Buffalo.
Yeah.
You know, going to restaurants or going to the mall, or like people always came up to him, and people just loved the way he coached his teams. I think his team the one year was the hardest working pro sports team, and I think in the world they voted them on. So you know, Buffalo's a real blue collar town, and that's the way he coached his team. And I think the fans and the people just absolutely fell in love with him. And I remember when things were going on and he wasn't going to be renewed. Like, I just remember there was like a big rally or like a parade kind of to bring Teddy back. And you know, many years has passed, and you still see signs every now and then in the crowd of bring Ted Nolan back, or
amazing.
So he's just, like the people of Buffalo just truly embraced our family and him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it must have been a confusing time though for somebody who's younger and not maybe understanding what was going on. But you know, it worked out for you though. Like I'm looking at your hockey stats here. You spent some time in Oshawa. I guess that's when you first started there, right? In 2000, and when you moved there, Oshawa, Whitby area. Spent some time in Manitoba. Like, what was maybe your favorite stop? I know Oshawa is close to home, so that's probably easy. But was there like a stop that you remember most? Like you were in Sweden for a season as well?
Yeah, I mean, it goes so fast. Like, it is junior hockey, like, went like a heartbeat, like 3 years. You know, pro hockey was super fast, you know, playing with, I think, 5 different teams in 5 different years.
Yeah.
Having so many amazing experiences, like playing in Winnipeg, playing in Columbia, South Carolina, in the East Coast Hockey League was an amazing, amazing experience. Going over to Sweden was absolutely incredible. Like, the people were just like Canadians, and it was a small town, and everywhere you went, kind of people knew who you were cheering you on. And then, you know, getting a chance to sign an album, having a really good year, and playing a little bit with the Carolina Hurricanes. So it just, I just remember everything went so fast. And, you know, you dream of one day playing pro hockey or playing the NHL. And then you look back and you're like, man, like, the NHL was really cool. But like, some of the best times were just like playing junior hockey or playing in the East Coast Hockey League.
Right.
So it's just weird, like looking back when you wanted to make the NHL and that was the ultimate prize, but you had a lot more fun playing in the other lower leagues.
Right. You mentioned like South Carolina. What were the fans like down there?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we were just right off campus with the South Carolina Gamecocks. Mm-hmm. So I remember going to basketball games, going to a couple of football games. Our rink was like, there was classrooms attached to the rink. So when we walked in, there was other people, other students hanging out. And like we were a young team, so a lot of the students and people connected with us. We go to the cafeteria and eat lunch sometimes with the students, and it was just kind of felt like we were going to school without having to go to class.
Yeah.
So and playing pro hockey and making like not a lot of money by any means, but a little bit of money, and it was just a really cool time. I was 22, 23 years old, and it just seems like a lifetime ago, like just an absolute kid at the time. So, but that was an amazing experience.
Do you remember your first game in the NHL? And so two-part. A, do you remember your first game and what was that like? But B, having so much exposure and being surrounded by it growing up, did you feel like you still got the same impact as you transitioned into the pros?
Yeah, I remember I played 4 years pro, and then I signed with the Carolina Hurricanes, Albany River Rats on like a 2-way deal. So really not expecting to ever play the NHL. I was 25 years old at the time, which is crazy to say, but a little older. And then just starting like on the fourth line, getting a couple minutes a night. And then as the season went on, like just playing really good and getting a lot of trust from the coach at the time. It was Tom Rowe. And then just like right before Christmas, I think it was, December 21st or 20th. And then getting the call that you're going up to play in the NHL, which is just like, man, like 25 years, my whole life of wanting to do it. And then you get a phone call from the coach, like I said, Tom Rowe. He's like, you might be going up, you might be getting a call, and actually getting the call. Going to Tampa Bay, like really just kind of blacking out. And I remember like playing the game. I remember like doing an interview in the first intermission. Don't really remember what I said. Don't really remember any plays. Like it just, honestly, like I just blacked out. Like I was just so full of energy, so full of adrenaline. It was a crazy, crazy experience. I remember my mom, brother, I think my girlfriend at the time was there. It's now my wife, a couple family members. It was just like, it was really crazy. And I didn't even remember, like I watched the game back. I think this was, 15, 16 years ago now. So watched it back like maybe 3-4 years ago and just like watching the game and I remember any of the plays, my assist, who I played against, and then just like, wow, like Vincent Lecavalier was out there.
Oh, wow.
Brad Richards was out there. Martin St. Louis was out there.
Oh, man.
And just like totally forgot about all that.
Yeah. That was a great team. So your first game was in Tampa Bay.
Was in Tampa Bay, yeah. And then going to Madison Square Garden against the Rangers right after Christmas on the 26th.
Jeez.
Wow. Yeah, it was crazy, crazy.
Now, unfortunately, your career got cut short. Can you talk about that a bit? How'd that feel?
Yeah, so it was December 22nd. I think it was my first NHL game. And then my career ended on February 22nd. Just like 2 months later, took a really bad, vicious elbow and just blacking out, going to the hospital. But like just within that 2 months, it was really crazy because, like I said, I was playing really good in the AHL, and finally got called up, and then going back and forth. And I remember like right before my injury, I actually played 5 games in a row. Like I played Wednesday AHL, Thursday NHL, Friday AHL, Saturday NHL, Sunday AHL. Jesus. So like at the time, like, well now, like I don't even think that would be allowed or that would be probably blocked by like the union or something. But I just remember being like absolutely dog tired and just physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. And then the injury happened a couple of weeks after that, a couple of games. But just remember those 2 months, like playing a lot of hockey, a lot of travel. At the time, you can go up and down and up and down. Yeah. And, it was a really awesome time. It was a crazy time. And then, like I said, just took a really bad, vicious elbow that just like that, they turned the lights out, career was over. And a couple of years went by, which was not extremely rough, but definitely rough with physical and mental symptoms.
Sure.
Yeah, I bet.
Just rewinding back to your first appearance, though, in the NHL, did your dad have any kind of like words of wisdom or any calming advice for you when you went up?
Just pretty simple, like standard cliche. Just like keep it simple, be physical.
Yeah.
Pucks in deep, which everyone says.
Yeah. Stick on the ice. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just remember I don't, like I said, I don't remember the game.
Yeah.
I remember watching it back, and like I wasn't an amazing hockey player by any means, but like I played the right way, had a little bit of offense, liked to play physical. And watching the game, like I actually had a pretty good game, so I kept it extremely simple and laid a couple of bodies. Played a little bit like Jim would.
Right. Well, but I mean, you say that, but I'm looking at your stats, and at least in Oshawa, like you're a center, and you were more of a goal and assist guy. Like I'm looking at your penalty minutes; they weren't that high. So when now that you're playing Jim 2 on Shoresy, do some of your former teammates like laugh, going, "Yeah, you weren't that guy when you were playing," or were you? Or
yeah, it's weird. I kind of had I feel like I had two careers. Like Oshawa was extremely offensive.
Yeah.
I wasn't a puck carrier, but like I knew how to score goals and I knew where to go to areas to get passes through seams, and I had a pretty good shot. So I definitely knew how to score goals, and I loved the offensive side of the game. I loved creating. I loved, producing, being a top guy, being a leader on the team, and then getting drafted to Vancouver, and then, thinking that pro hockey was going to kind of be the same, and instantly right away, fourth line, limited minutes, no creative whatsoever to the game. You couldn't take any risk of making a play and causing a turnover, because if you happen to turn it over, you were not going to play again. So
that must have been frustrating.
I don't want to say the organization completely buried my offensive game, my offensive skill, but really that's the way it was, with no opportunity to really show the type of player that I was, and then kind of having to mold my game and really change it. And then, going to Sweden, kind of finding that love again of playing offensive, creating opportunities, and then coming back and signing, like I said, with Carolina and Albany, and really just blending the two, being really physical, trying to fight every now and then. I think my last 2 or 3 years pro, I think I had 6 or 7 fights a year.
Okay.
While trying to produce offensively at the same time. So I just found that, as I got older, really meshing the two games together.
Yeah. You're trying to be more
served me pretty well.
More that complete player, because you're right. What you're saying here, when you went to Manitoba, your offensive numbers dropped, but then back, in South Carolina, and then I'm looking Albany. Yeah. You scored 22 goals in Albany, which is pretty good, that's not a defensive player. Those are offensive numbers, and 26 assists. So it looked like you were back to form there.
Yeah. Like I said, I just finally, for the first time, I feel like in my pro career, and it took 5 years to find him, Tom Rowe, finally a coach that believed in me and showed trust in me and belief in me. And we talk to kids all over Canada in Indigenous communities about, it's really about finding a teacher or a mentor or a coach that believes in you. And once you do, it really changes your whole mentality. And for me, it was Tom Rowe in Albany.
Now, this is a bit of a touchy question. So, however you want to answer it, it's fine. But given what your dad went through with his coaching stint in the NHL, did that have anything to do with maybe how you were afraid to maybe make the mistakes you're in Winnipeg, and that's why your game kind of, you know what I mean? Were you feeling the pressure to be too perfect, maybe because you wouldn't get that same opportunity, maybe because you were an Indigenous player?
Yeah, honestly, no, not really.
No? Okay.
No, just the fear of making mistakes was really at the time the way the coach was the game was coached. It was a lot more coaches were a lot tougher on players.
Right.
And if you weren't a trusted guy who was getting a lot of minutes, your only job was to lay a body, not get scored on, and don't turn the puck over at any blue line. So that was really what I experienced the first couple of years, and it was really just in Manitoba. When I got a chance to go down, like I said, and played in the East Coast League with the Columbia Inferno.
Yeah,
the coach there was amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it helped either when my first 3 years of pro were in Manitoba. I had 3 different coaches and never really got to build a relationship with any. But I'm no different than anyone else. Pro hockey is extremely hard. It's so hard to make it, and there's thousands of guys that with more opportunity can show a lot more than what they have. But that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I had to ask, just given again what your dad went through, right? And but yeah, for sure. Matt.
Well, I was gonna say, and before we shift into Shoresy, I know this has been a big thing for you guys. The three Nolans, the school, the speaking, all that. Talk about that a bit. Like, how did that come to be? I think you guys were established in 2013. I think I saw. But like, where, how did that begin, and how's it gone, and where's it going? Like,
Yeah, it just kind of came up. I mean, I remember my father always doing hockey schools for Indigenous youth when I was really young. I remember going to Calgary. I think I was like 8, 9, 10 years old at the time. Just like being around Indigenous people. You know, there wasn't too many Indigenous hockey players in the NHL or coming out to our communities, and you know, either putting on hockey camps or doing like motivational discussions, motivational speeches. So seeing my father do it many years ago when I was a kid, and then getting older, as you know, when I graduated from college, I was I think 31 years old and took a couple jobs, and you know, seeing my father and my mother like run the Ted Nolan Foundation and always giving back to First Nation youth and Indigenous women to further their education, and kind of thinking with like myself, my brother, my father, like what can we do to hopefully inspire the next generation, and just came up with the idea to have a hockey camp. You know, at the time, really the hockey camp and building hockey skills were like the furthest thing from our mind. It was more about getting the kids together, you know, yes, teaching them hockey skills and letting them have a great time on the ice, but really interacting with them, you know, showing them that we care, showing them that they matter. So maybe someone to look up to, whether it's myself, Jordan, my father, telling them stories about, you know, successes, failures, what it maybe takes to get to the next level, what it takes to be successful from our experiences anyways. We just really wanted to create something to inspire, and it started in 2013, like you said, doing a couple camps a year. And now we're really all over Canada doing anywhere from 12 to 24 camps a year. So really getting out to a lot of First Nation communities and seeing a little bit of the impact. So it's been awesome, not just working with my father, my brother, one, and then two, just seeing these kids and hopefully, you know, like I said, you're not gonna inspire them all, but if we can inspire a couple to do something great, then we feel like we did a really good job.
Yeah. Has anything like really surprised you through those experiences, like going into these remote towns and wherever? Like what's kind of caught you the most through all this process?
You know, just getting there and just seeing the kids. You know, they're just looking for inspiration. They're looking for people that come in that care. You know, a lot of the places we go to are extremely remote. They're like some communities are fly-in only, and that means you're only getting there on the winter road when it freezes, and you're only getting there by plane. So, honestly, the travel's pretty hard. The travel's the hardest part. You know, going to, you know, James Bay coast and Ontario side, or Hudson's Bay up on the Quebec side, you know, northern Alberta. So kind of really going all over and going to some really hard to reach places. But these places, like once you get there, you'd think like, oh, it's so hard to get here. Like no one ever wants to come here, but they're just truly amazing places. They're beautiful places. And, you know, like I said, the kids are just looking for someone to show that they care and show that they matter. And we hope to do that for them when we come into the communities.
It's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to why people are listening right now. And that's Shoresy. How did you get involved with Shoresy?
Got an email on, I think it was like August 5th or 10th one summer. I think it was like a spam junk joke / scam, whatever it was. Just asking if my brother and I wanted to be on a Letterkenny spinoff. Knew what Letterkenny was. Never honestly watched the show. Just seen clips online, like funny YouTube clips or whatever.
Right.
But calling my brother, saying like, I don't know if this is a joke, but I'll respond and see what happens. And God, sure glad we did. It's just, you know, season 4 is fully out now in Canada, and I think it comes out next week and in the States on Hulu. But just seeing like I said, it was 1 August, and then I think we're shooting season 1 like 2 months later in October, and just seeing where we are now. And God, it's really crazy to see like I was considering not even answering that email, and like honestly, our lives has changed quite a bit with just the TV show and where we've been with it. And it's just been a really, really cool experience.
Did you have any idea, like any goals or dreams of acting, or was it like, did this just come out of the blue and like, sure, why not? I'll try it.
No, geez, not even the 0.01% of any thought entered my mind of acting.
Yeah.
Honestly, just like when your pro career ends, like I said, took a couple of years off, went back to school so I can hopefully get, a decent job with an education. And really, like, ever since I was the age of 31, like after I graduated, I've kind of just gone year by year, try to do like whatever I was doing at the time, try to do a good job, like what you learn in hockey, being a good team player, working hard. And I find like, you just slowly build as your career goes on. And then this opportunity came up, and gosh, just like remember going there and just not knowing a thing about anything that was going to happen, like not knowing about call sheets or like lines, scripts, like just
how overwhelming.
I still don't know a lot about it. And it's just like just going there the first time, like just meeting everyone and going over a couple lines and being like absolutely shocked, nervous of having to say one line. And there wasn't even cameras around. There's no cameras around yet. We were just chatting. I remember like meeting Jared Kiesel for the first time, meeting Terry Ryan, Dolo, Goody. It was just like, I just can't believe where we were when it started. And, everyone's like really good friends now and we're super tight. And it's just like, it's like a little secondary family.
Sure. I mean, you see Dolo and Andrew and like some of them will come up with you guys, I guess, to your 3 Nolan camps and stuff to help out now.
Yeah, actually, Goody. Andrew's got his own going on through the First Assist charity.
Oh, right.
So
That's
he
what it was.
goes. It's the similar program, similar idea, but he goes out, and I know Dolo goes along with them, and they're doing an amazing job with that. But like I said, like they're like best buddies. They're super tight.
Yeah.
I knew who John was a little bit because I played against him. But now, like me, Jordan, John are super tight. And
did you ever fight him?
Oh, hell no. No, I played against him when he was I was in Manitoba. He was in Syracuse. And that was the Syracuse heydays when they were beating the crap out of everyone. And, and when I was in Manitoba, we had a tough team too, but no, I'm not dumb enough to fight John.
That's amazing. So when you
maybe jump from behind and get one shot and then go down, but I would never ever fight that guy.
So you'd sucker him, but that's
I'd sucker him for sure.
Yeah. Love it.
What was it like? So sorry, building that like camaraderie with obviously you and your brother already knew each other very well, of course. But when John entered the mix as the 3 gyms, were there anything you guys did early on just to bond or connect, or did you just hit the ground running?
Yeah, we just hockey guys are pretty simple guys. Everyone's for the most part pretty easy to get along with. Like I said, we're all hardworking. We're all there for the team. That's what like hockey teaches you. And I think with the TV show, there's a lot of similarities with building a cast and becoming a team and working together and being prepared. So honestly, like it was really weird the way we all just kind of fell into our roles and fell into how Jared wanted the show to look and feel. And it was, we just kind of like, it was like a real hockey team and like messing around with each other, making jokes. Terry's got the tunes going in the dressing room. We're going to dinners. We're messing around. Or it's just like, it was just like playing pro hockey again. And it was pretty honestly not really easy to find who we were with the show, but it was a lot easier than what I expected.
Do you remember what the first scene that you shot was?
Oh God, I don't remember at the time, but I'm going to guess it was hockey scenes because Jared was pretty easy on us to start. So all the hockey scenes were kind of like our go-to and our bread and butter and what we kind of fell into. But I do remember the last scene of our last working day of season 1 was where you finally meet the gyms. And I assume like I said, I don't know nothing about nothing. So I assume like you shoot the show in order.
Yeah.
So like when we're shooting the ending of season 1 first, and I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense to me. Like, how do they make all this make sense? And then the first scene of our last working day is when you meet the gyms, and it's a really cool scene. And and we're all sitting. We're on one bench, the guys are on the other, and it was just really cool. But like I said, it's just been an amazing experience.
Amazing.
Now, I mean, we can talk all the way. It drops in the U.S. This Wednesday, actually. And by the time everyone sees this interview, it'll be next week. It'll already have dropped. But just talking about up to the end of season 3, I mean, the story that's being told, about Shoresy and dealing with the end of his hockey career and how it happened. Did any of that kind of resonate with you? Because it sort of mirrored how your career ended, and like, was any of that going through your head when you watched it?
Yeah, not really. It's been so long ago. Like it was really, really hard to deal with the concussion early on. Just, finally making it to where I wanted to be, which was the NHL and playing like the best hockey in my career. And then all of a sudden, boom, one injury and it's over. So yeah, definitely similarities between what happened to Shoresy, taking the nasty concussion, nasty hit.
Yeah.
But no, nothing ran through my mind like that. Like I said, it's been so long ago, and it really feels like a lifetime ago. It's only been 15, 14 years, but I just like, playing pro hockey, going to college, getting the odd job, working for the government.
Yeah.
Now it's so weird. Like I just say we're on a TV show. I don't say we're actors because it feels so weird to say we're actors. I just say we're on a TV show, but being on this TV show now, it's just like so many things have happened since I was 25 years old, and it's really crazy.
Have you watched the show? And I asked it because Morasti admitted that he hadn't actually seen the whole season.
Yeah, I don't think he watches too much TV, but I've seen the show. As soon as that thing comes out, I'm watching it. I want to see because, like I said, like I don't read the entire script. Like I'm not like a true blue actor where I want to know what's going on. Like I'm just so hyper focused on what I have to say and trying not to mess up.
Yeah.
So like I don't even honestly know the storyline until like the show comes out. So I'm just like a fan, excited to see like what happens, who was on the show. I know there's a couple guest appearances on season 4. Like I didn't know those guys were in it until seeing it a couple weeks ago here in Canada. But I kind of feel like it's just really cool to be a part of the show. And then it's really cool to see the end product because I'm not obviously just a small character and a piece of the puzzle, but I don't really know what's going on the entire storyline.
But I mean, in this season, not giving too much away, but the gyms do have a little bit more of a story this season.
Not too giving too much away, but we're in there.
Yeah. So I mean, would you love to see, maybe now that you've done it, now you've been bitten by the acting bug? Maybe, I don't know if maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but would you like to see more? Either a story on the gyms here, like, or other acting opportunities for like other shows or movies.
Oh, Jay, not for me. No. I'll take any opportunity that comes along. If it's with Jared Kiso and Kara, one of the producers, anything they do and they ask me to be a part of, I will, just because they're such great people and they're such awesome people to work with. But anything outside of that, like, no, I have no acting bug, no future plans to become more of an actor. I know some guys that I won't say who, but some guys definitely are getting out there a bit more. And I'm a simple guy and I don't need. It's too much stress already, so I don't need it.
Sure.
Did you struggle with saying yes to that first email that you received? Like you said, you thought it was spam, but once you figured out that it wasn't spam, did you toss around the idea of, do I do this? Like, because it changes things, right? Drastically.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just like it was really the unknown, like not knowing of anything about acting, anything. Like I didn't want to look like an idiot, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
So, the show and the producers and Jared, they've just been absolutely amazing with us. They've probably been a little more patient than they should have, but I feel like we're slowly getting a little bit better and we're, the show so well. And it's really from Jared and his vision and what he saw. And I remember I know he tells a story about, going going to Bell and kind of pitching the idea, and we're going to bring in hockey players with no acting experience, and sitting in that room, you'd probably just be like, "Is this guy crazy?" And so he's just super smart guy, super generous, super kind, and I guess you could say he knew what he was doing. So we're proud to. Well, I'm proud. I know my brother is, and the rest of us to be a part of something that's really cool.
Well, it had to be. Go ahead.
So it's amazing because what you kind of hinted at, it was, I think it was said by Jared when we had him on. It's been echoed a number of times that he's kind of went, you know what, I can teach a hockey player to act, but I can't teach an actor to play hockey. And that was the premise and what you kind of described. And we felt it. We were, you probably don't know, we were background season 2. We were there for a couple days. We were given a bit of a tour. We met Kiso and Tierney and a few others. Had a good time. But I can tell you, we were behind the net when some of you guys were taking shots and some plays were being, it felt like a real game. The intensity. I'll tell you, one of the guys with us, one of our listeners, he was getting nervous when he was right behind the net when that puck missed the net and drilled the
glass,
boards, the glass. He was just like shaking because there's real intensity in what you guys are doing on the ice.
Yeah, I know Jared. That was his goal, to make the hockey, look like pro. So getting a couple guys that played pro hockey and other guys that played hockey, it really helps the end product. So. Like you said, like when we're shooting scenes, like it's not like pro intense, but it's like it's up there. Like we want to make this look as real as possible. Like even the fighting scenes, like I'm pretty much throwing as hard as I can. So trying not to hit anyone, obviously, but we're really proud of the way it comes out on TV, and that's only done by honestly people that either played hockey or know how to play a little bit of hockey. So. The hockey looks amazing. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, you mentioned how this has changed yours and Jordan's life. Taking this leap into acting, and also this must have been part of Jared's master plan, not just to have realistic looking hockey, but then to be able to go on the road for a Shoresy Classic tour where you guys, the actors, are playing against NHL alum. I mean. He must have had that in the back of his head, and to make it happen, what was it like doing the Shoresy Classic?
Yeah, I told Jared, like, our first stop was in Detroit, and it was just like, I didn't know what to expect. Like, obviously I thought it was gonna be really cool, but I didn't know it was gonna be absolutely amazing. Like, just getting to Detroit, thinking like, oh yeah, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand fans there. I didn't know there's gonna be 5,000-6,000 fans at all these places, and just like playing the game in Detroit for the first stop, which was absolutely incredible. Like, I'll never forget it. Coming out for the introductions, and then just like going through the game, in the room after with the guys, some of the Detroit alumni, and then like the next morning, like waiting for the bus to go. I think we went to Buffalo next, and just like talking to Jared out front, and I was just like, last night was absolutely incredible. Like, I remember my first NHL game, but like this beats it.
Really?
Like it was better than my first NHL game. Wow. And I just couldn't believe like the vibe and the energy of the fans, and the game worked out. Like, we didn't know if it was going to be like a little bit silly but we were like, it was like, we didn't go full out, but like we went pretty hard, and it was competitive, and it was fun at the same time. And I think like it just really showed well for the fans. And it was just like, then we went to Buffalo, Chicago, Boston, Toronto. And it was just like every game was amazing. And it was just it was a cool experience to see like how crazy some of the fans were, like chanting our name or like just waiting in line to see us. But the tour was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Well, we joked on our show, but because we went to the Toronto one, which was awesome. But we laughed that it must be a different perspective for a lot of these alumni, where most of the people there are not there to see them. They're there to see you guys, right? Where they're like, we're the big NHL guys, but no, they're like, oh, you're just part of the show now. Yeah. We're here to see.
Yeah, I just remember, like, I think we sold out before any alumni were announced, and like I'm a big hockey nut, so. Yeah. Like when I'm going to that game, like I can't wait to see Darren McCarty or or see some buddies from Buffalo like Cody McCormick, or some like Wendell Clark in Toronto.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, but I get like they didn't come like just squarely to see us. Like they got to see alumni as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was just I just couldn't believe like how cool it was. And in the first game, like I told like my friends or my wife or anyone that was maybe thinking of coming, like I just got on the phone right away. I'm like, you guys have to come. Like I didn't know it was gonna be this good and this cool. So like if you can make it to one location, like you got to come out, because it was just amazing. And Dolo playing the concert, and he played in Boston, like right beside Fenway Park.
Yeah.
And just seeing like those fans go crazy for him, and it just the whole experience. It was just really like it was over 12 days, and it was quick, but it was absolutely incredible.
Now I saw on your IG your kids they went to the Toronto game, right?
Yeah, they went to Toronto game.
Yeah. Now how great was that? Like, did they ever get a chance to see Dad play hockey, or was this kind of their first time seeing that happen?
Yeah, no, they never seen. Like I retired at the age of 25.
Right. Yeah.
So they never saw me play. And then like I played okay. Like I think I got like 3 goals. I got a couple goals late, and then thought I played okay. And they're like, yeah, you were okay. And then I was like, you guys expect, like I'm 41 years old, I'm out of shape.
Damn kids.
I haven't played hockey in 15 years. Like I thought I played pretty good. And they were like any people's kids, like hard to please. But they had a great time. They're like just seeing their uncle Jordan and other they were actually trying to think what season it was. 3? 2 of my boys were in season 3.
Oh, as extras?
They're doing they're talking to the kids in the hockey school. There's 3 kids and
okay, yeah. The seminar.
Yeah. So they're in the show, and
nice.
My middle guy is in grade 5. He takes his Yeti Shoresy to school. Like that's his mug. So they wear the Shoresy toque. So they're I hope they're proud, and they've been around that game and around the set a couple of times. So it's just it's cool for them to experience that.
Are they playing hockey?
Amazing.
My oldest quit honestly at the age of 9. Just wasn't having fun. Didn't like it all that much. And then my middle guy plays twice a week. He plays house league hockey. Then my daughter plays house league, and they really like hockey. I don't think they love it like I did, but they really, really like it. And my other 2 boys are big baseball nuts. So we're swamped in the summer with baseball.
Oh, wow. All right. I asked this of every one of the actors who come on, the sluts from Shoresy.
Yep.
Who's the best hockey player of the sluts? I won't tell you who they usually answer. I want to hear from you.
Maybe I think Terry or Jordan would probably be a toss up. I mean, Terry was an amazing player.
Sure. Well, he's a first round draft pick.
Ankle injury delay. I mean, Jordan, obviously my bro, 3 Stanley Cups, 2 with LA Kings, had an amazing career. Like with George's career and Terry's career, they're really good hockey players.
Well, either they say themselves or they say your brother because of the rings, right?
Who said themselves? Can't say
I think Terry did. I think maybe Dolo did too. I can't remember now, but yeah, anyway. And so kind of a part 2 to this question. This is actually from our listener, Tobias in Missouri. Which of the sluts has the best chirps? Who's got the best chirp game?
I'll say first Nasty, because he has he's got really funny chirps, but Terry for sure, he's got really funny chirps.
Can you understand his chirps?
He's always talking. He's always got the tunes going. Terry's an absolutely hilarious guy and such. He's so kind but he's got some good chirps.
Yeah, we had him on the first time because Al met him for lunch another time or breakfast. We still laughed that I think he interviewed himself. Like I think Al and I asked maybe 3 questions, and then he just talked for an hour. And
If you're looking for time to kill, just go call Terry and he'll chew your ear off for an hour.
Amazing. Now, our listener Mike from New Jersey, he'd like to know how your dad's doing because we've had one of our listeners just went through battling multiple myeloma, and she's in remission and doing well. And I think your dad had the same thing happen.
Yep. Yeah, same thing. So yeah, it was a rough experience for him to go through, but knock on wood, everything's going good as of right now. And yeah, he's doing really well, to be honest with you. So yeah, it was a tough time, but he's doing really well.
Yeah.
Okay. Does he watch the show?
He does. Yeah. They
What does he think?
they really like it. I mean, my parents they're so simple, and they watch wholesome shows, like I like wholesome shows.
So, no, so Shoresy's not in there. Yeah,
the vulgarity of it, and the way it was, it kind of took them aback at first, but as they got to know, like, it's just not a vulgar comedy with like just nonstop. Like, there's a really good story, and there's a really good character development, and there's really good not from us, but there's some really good acting. And but like he's really, like, he's fallen in love with the show over the past couple seasons. So he really enjoys the show.
He's never asked why haven't I been invited on?
No, he's never he's probably like me, just not wanting to act unless fully asked. But no, he really enjoys watching it.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
That's cool. All right, Jen, do you have any other questions?
What scene was it that you were really looking forward to and really enjoyed being in?
Probably anything with like fighting. The fighting scenes are fun. They're you got to practice the fight beforehand. You got to like work with whoever you're working with, whether it's a stunt coordinator or former guy. Like the one guy I fought actually played pro hockey, and I played against him. So he was fun to work with. But I just once they taught you like how to make it look and how to make it look real, they're fun. I mean, obviously the hockey's always fun because it's natural.
Sure.
You just if they tell you to score this way or hit this way, you got to get that down, obviously. But the hockey comes natural, and so those are always like the hockey days. They are long. The shooting hockey scenes, it does take a while, and it's a long day. But for me, they're always fun because you're in the dressing room with the guys. Like, if we're at the rink and we're shooting hockey scene, like if we're not on the ice shooting, we're in the change room messing around, telling stories, listening to tunes, eating food. So those are always, for me, they're the most fun days.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how long it takes to set up a scene and to take, like, when we were there in the rink, it was incredible to watch the process. And like when you're watching the show, you have no idea how much goes into that scene, and like those 2 minutes or 3 minute shot, and then it's on to the next. It's incredible, as you said, to see it from the background and how things work, and not understanding or seeing that world before. It was just another experience. It's a whole
it is pretty crazy. Like, we're super lucky. Like, we just got to go out there and hopefully do our best in a scene. But it's all everyone behind the scenes, like the camera crew, the lights, the set directors, all the directors, everyone that puts like all the stuff into the show. It's a ton of work, and you really see it like when you come out and how hard they're working. Like, we're messing around the change room, telling stories, and all these guys they're going nonstop for 10 hours. At least we get a break. So a lot of people work a lot harder than us, and everyone's just proud to be like one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
To all work together. So it's really crazy as what goes on like hockey shoot days with everything that's going on.
But they are long days. I mean, the day we sat there, we got there first thing in the morning, and you guys went until 5 or 6 p.m. or later. I mean, I can't, hockey practice doesn't last that long. Like, I can't imagine what you guys are like sucking wind at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's pretty long. John usually has 2 or 3 naps a day, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
So that guy can sleep anywhere, and Nasty just puts his head down, and like like the tunes will be blaring, and he will be full out snoring.
Yeah.
So,
I think you've shared a few stories and things on Instagram of him passed out on the floor.
Yeah, like if you need sleep advice, call Nasty, whatever he does. He is out like a light.
So let me ask you this: on all the episodes, I mean, a lot of it's hockey, which is right in your wheelhouse, and the rest, a lot of you guys just sitting there doing your thing. But one episode, I think it was the Brooks Barrelman episode in season 3, which is the no-show after party.
Yep.
When that episode came across, and you read through some of what you guys were doing, from dancing in your underwear, or backflips off into the pool. Were you nervous about that episode, or what was that experience like? Because that one was completely off the rails, right?
Yeah, that was. I mean, honestly, like, it's all fun, to be quite honest with you. Like, it's everything we do is like really fun. If we get like a couple lines, which we usually don't get too much. Like we keep it pretty simple. The gyms, I know Jord, the third gym usually says the most.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm nice in the middle. Like I don't have to say too much. He says the most, but like that was a really fun scene. Like just being on the bus all zapped out and then going to the pool and doing that scene and then jumping off the board. And they were more worried about our underwear falling off jumping in the pool than anything. So precautions were taken there. And
we definitely talked about that a bit because
you'd think like everything you go over fully, you practice it. Like never would have thought like we'd have to practice jumping off a diving board into the pool, but we did. And we had Jordan and John raced each other in the pool, and we were in between breaks, and awesome. Like we're super professional, but we have a lot of fun and we mess around when we can. So
yeah, sure.
Were you guys approached at all to shave your head, or was that reserved for the
no, they didn't. No, we weren't approached.
Okay.
No. They probably thought that was going to be a non-starter, right? Like, there's no way.
The stiff arm there, the Heisman. But no, not approached. I don't know. You never know. If they asked me, I probably wouldn't have. But
how do you keep a straight face during some of those scenes? Like, I'm thinking that scene on the bus where you guys are just massaging each other. Just like, how do you keep from like cracking up?
Man, there's some funny stuff, and once you try not to break, because once you do, and then you got the giggles, and they're hard to get rid of. But even like when Goody and Fish were doing like ski poles, and they were beside each other. And they were that took them forever, because it was just like because we were on the other side of the bench, and it's just like they couldn't get through it. And just seeing that and anything, like I'm happy I wasn't part of that truck scene when they're doing the
short box.
That
was
just absolutely hilarious. But yeah, like I'm getting used to now, like where like messing up is fine and messing up is normal. So before, like, I'd be so worried, like, you don't want to crack, you don't want to mess up, you don't want to waste people's time, but it's just part of the process. And when you do mess up, like, it's fine, but just kick it back into gear as fast as you can.
Do you have any good stories, like one memorable moment or two, or a couple about being on set, like maybe where you couldn't get through a scene or anything like that?
Honestly, no, not really. I mean, like you said, when you lose it, and everything's funny, but just every season we shoot, like honestly, just being a part of the show, it's really cool. Like we work hard, we work all day, but then you got your off days, and we're going to the golf simulator as a crew. We're going to the local restaurants. We're going to the keg. We're going, we're hanging out in Terry's room playing PS5. We're like when you played hockey, like that was like the most enjoyable parts, right? Like being on the bus with the guys. You're going to the hotel, going to dinner. So like it's no different being on this show. Like I said, you do the show, you do the work, and then off days and when you're off away from set, like those are the most fun, just spending time with each other. So it's like I said before, it's like really similar being on a pro team. Like that's why I think a lot of us just have loved this experience so much.
Oh, I'll ask the question that our buddy Joey from Colorado usually asks, and that's what's your favorite place to eat at in Sudbury?
All right.
There's some really cool spots. We were going to Buzzy Brown's a lot the first couple seasons, and then that's a really cool spot. Then going we moved hotels, so we're right near somewhat near the keg. So we're if we're shooting a season and you're looking for anyone, go pop by the keg. More than likely, if we're not working,
you guys like that?
We're sitting there having a meal or watching.
You love the Billy Miner pie, do you?
Oh God, that Billy Miner pie, that's the best. That's my best dessert of all time. So we're at the keg a lot.
We're working on that keg sponsorship for the podcast.
When we first mentioned the keg, our U.S. listeners thought that we were talking about beer.
They didn't understand what the keg was.
It was a steakhouse.
The keg steakhouse. it's that's our favorite spot. That's our go-to. I've never been to Red Lobster before in my life, and the first time was in Sudbury, I think season 2. So that was a cool spot too. But yeah, Keg's our go-to.
There you go. Amazing. Matt, you want to ask yours before we?
Yeah, I ask everyone this question. I mean, you guys have been on quite a ride since season 1, the Shoresy Classic. You know, everything's been going on. I mean, for you personally, what has it all meant? Like, answer that any way you see fit, but like, what has it all meant to you, man?
For me personally, it's like I said before, it's just really cool to be a part of something where you're working for good people, like Kara Halfordson and Jared Kiso. They're just such great people, and everyone else that's involved with the show, Skeeter brothers, you know, everyone's who, when you're looking for a job or you're looking to do something, or we're building our hockey school, or you're always looking to collaborate and work with good people. So I think really at the end of the day, that's all that matters when you're trying to create something, because then it comes off and it shows in the product. But they're amazing people. And for me, being a part of something like that, because if they weren't, like, honestly, I wouldn't have came back after season 1. You know, like I said, I'm 42 years old now. I'm not getting super old, but getting a little bit older. And I'm realizing that, you know, life's about creating relationships and working with good people. And the fact that they're that amazing makes the experience all that more enjoyable. And like I said, anytime they ask me to do something, I'll be right there for them.
Amazing. Yeah, well said.
Well, thank you, man. We appreciate you. I mean, we're obviously fans. You guys keep making it. We're going to keep celebrating the hell out of it. Just love it, man. Great for you.
Yeah, you guys will be, the American listeners we're pretty pumped for it to come out, like you said, on Wednesday. And season 4's, you know, just amazing. And, you know, I know we got the approval for season 5. So looking forward to doing that. And who knows? I mean, I don't know where it's going. I'm not smart enough or important enough to know what the next steps are. But I hope this continues, and I hope we go as far as we can with it.
Before I play us off here, is there anything coming up that you're working on, or for three Nolans, or any work you're working on that you'd like to shed some light on, or where can people follow you to find out what that is?
Yeah, I got nothing personally to follow me. I kind of just staying in the background, not being out there too much. But for Three Nolans, we're on Facebook. Facebook's really big in our native communities, so we're Facebook famous, people like to say. But you know, we're on Instagram with Three Nolans. You know, everything. We got a website, 3nolans.com. So if anyone's interested, like I said, my father's book's really good.
Yes.
Life in Two Worlds. Just trying to do as much good as we can, hoping to inspire through the Three Nolans program. And we're always doing hockey schools or doing events for Indigenous youth or companies. But you know, like I said, we're not out there too much. We don't like to be you know, in your face. So if you're looking for us, you can find us. But other than that,
well, you guys need to order some more of those Three Nolan hats, because I think
we did that. We did that a couple years ago. We always sold our products. There's this big native tournament in Ontario called the Little NHL, and it's the biggest tournament for Indigenous youth in Ontario. And I think this year has over 270 teams. I mean, we're doing this.
Wow.
What's the date here? It's February 24th. So it's every March break in Ontario. And the tournament's coming up. It's in Markham, Ontario. And it's one of our favorite events to either be a part of with my kids, because my kids play in it, or just to walk around and be a part of it, because the event is so amazing. And like I said, we sold our products there, and then COVID hit.
Yeah. And
you know, I kind of ran everything myself with the products and the product design and the hats and the t-shirts and the hoodies. So I got stuck with all this stuff in my house, in my basement. And so we created the website to help myself get rid of some stuff. But you know, a lot of people, we were proud of the stuff we came out with, just for one, the quality. And I know Terry wears our stuff around all the time, and he says, "Oh, this stuff's so good." But you know, we're busy, so I would love to bring more out, and we'll make sure if we do, we'll get you guys some stuff.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And we will amplify any messages. Just send them our way, and we'll amplify that to our listenership.
Sounds great.
Thank you so much, Brandon, for the time you've given us today. We really appreciate it. I'm going to play us off here now with a song by Joe Dolo, Going Gold.
417. Old screen.
Never go broke. We going gold. I'm protecting the brand. If I reach for the pole, we buying the.
And that's all we have for this episode. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes, Spotify, or become a patron. You can also follow us on Blue Sky at produceandpod.com. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to go have a poppers with our new friend Brandon. On behalf of Brandon, Matt, Tanya, and myself, thank you for listening and have a great week.
I'm from the north, get poked 420. Icy roads, we sliding on skates. Playing night, slept with nothing in my belly.